Okay, we've now got the window out, as you can see, and as you can see there seems to be quite a lot of wet, rot type damage come through. Here you can see where some of it is grown and growing into the wall. Although I need to treat it, I'm not going to treat it yet because I want it to dry out. But where we can see where the major problems are here, this is where the water's basically had the ingress of the water has been from these points here and also down the side points here, and then it has flowed down until you get down to this area, and this is where the main set of rot was. There was in here was a puddle of water before, and then that's obviously caused this entire bottom section to rot as well. Again, if we look and see the sides here, part of the problem is that the windows have not been securely fixed onto the wall. What I'm going to need to do is take the window, I'll lift the window screws out, reseat them all, and then again the same kind of thing here as well. This is again the worst part of it here. You can see where the damp has been coming in. Again, it collects here, it's gone down the side because what's happened is you've had sealant here, which is correct, but that stops the water from going anywhere but back along the timber that we had, down the sides again, accumulating at the bottom, and then that's where we get the rot. We look at the top piece of timber that was on the window. You can see down here at this side, this is where the major leak was, which is on the left hand side of the window as you look at it from the inside, and then you can also see it on the right hand side as well. The actual centre part of the window frame is relatively dry, and can be seen from here. You know, you don't seem to have any of the damp, but if we look on the outside you'll be able to see why. Okay, so here we are on the outside of the window. As you can see, you have the water coming down from this part here. What you can see is there is a small hole here in the top, and there's a couple of other little holes here. And if you look over on this side, if I can get to it, well, you can see there is a large hole here. So what we're going to need to do is basically scrape all of this out, proper silicone seal it, and then repaint it all along the top and weatherproof it. This is also where I was talking about putting the small stainless strip. So if you could imagine it be about the width of my hand, would come out, most will be set from about there, and the idea will be just enough just to bring the water out, so if it does drip, it's liable to drip either back onto the window or straight down onto the wall there. It would be slightly wider than the window as well, and then what we would do is bolt it and seal it as well. So you can see there's still a fair bit to do. Again, I'd like to most obviously scrape all of this out under here. As you can see here where the joint of where the moulding has gone onto the side. So it just needs to be cleaned up and made sure that it's all safe and secure. Alright? Okay, now we've got the expanding foam. It's gone all inside the window frame. And this means now one is going to hold the window frame in place a lot stronger and will stop any ingress. I've also had to make two holes into the actual window frame, one there and one there, and then I've filled the inside of it also with the expanding foam, which will also help to keep the window frame firm. And again, I've done the same on this side as well. You can see one hole there and one hole here. Once I've let this dry up a little bit more, I'm going to trim it off today. And then I'm going to leave the whole window frame to dry. If I could leave it for most probably 3 to 4 days, I think it will help to sort out some of this, which will take it away, and then clean up some of this wall before I put back the new timber. As you can see, we've got quite still a lot of flaking on here. Luckily this has not gone into the concrete, but what I want to do is make sure we clean it all out before we put anything back. So I'm just going to keep at it, and I'll let you know exactly what's been happening. Take care. Okay. You can see we've tidied up the window frame now, and I've put some paint around the edges here, which is just really trying to seal it all, and it's all had a sealer coat put on the concrete as well. So that means now if any water comes in, it shouldn't soak into the concrete either, which is good, because that's also leading to a couple of other problems which I'll show you in a little while. Most of the wood frame I've built now, and I'll be putting that back on tomorrow after I've put some more coats of paint on these sections of the wall on the side. Where the damp was coming through, most of you can see a line here, and this is where obviously I've had to scrape the paint, and I'm going to have to keep coating it, sand it, coat it and sand it until I've got rid of as much of that as possible. There's not a great deal I can do about that at all, I'm afraid. Put a small skim coat on it and maybe smooth it out a little further, but unfortunately the damp has lifted up the paint completely. And we also kind of have the same thing here on this side as well. I think you can see it there. Alright, another update later. Okay, so now we've got all the new windows still in place. It's all been painted. It's all completely sealed. We've had some quite bad weather over the last couple of days and there's been no sign of any moisture coming in at all. I'm happy with the way it's come out. There are a couple of things I just want to point out to you though, Hector, as you'll see from the photo here. If we look over here in the corner of the room, down in this area here, you'll see that some of the paint here is starting to blister and come away from the wall here. Now this is normally where damp has come through, and you can see some of it here down in the crack. Again, this is where most of the join is going onto the wall. The other thing that can also cause this kind of blistering here, you can see it's quite soft, is when sand has been used. It's got a lot of salt in it, and they do tend to use a lot of beach sand here in the building, so I don't know where the sand came from, but at some point all this area here, around here, and also near the plugs, it needs to be scraped, cleaned. It'll need some filler putting onto it, and it'll also need like a damp-proof sealer, most probably putting up most of the way up, because we've got it right the way up here on the wall and right up into the corner. So at some point we would need to do that next. I only noticed this day before yesterday when I was sweeping and cleaning out and moving the furniture around. But anyway, you need to just be aware of it. Whether or not we do it now, we do it in a little while, we'll have to see. Alright. Okay, so here's the shot today, just to make you a little bit homesick. Nice and sunny. And it's been hot most of the day. Now you've got your sign up, so that's all done for you. And then lo and behold, you now also have your shower. Your shower's all working, just to prove it. Okay, there you go. And now people can follow rule number 6 and shower before they enter the pool. We still haven't done anything with the pool deck yet. We've had on and off rain, and the forecast for tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday is not good. It's supposed to be very, very rainy. We've got a big tropical depression heading this way. Whether or not it will, I don't know. But if it holds off, I'll start to make a go on the deck sometime next week. Okay, Hector, take care. Hope everything's well.